And then which districts have you seen with the biggest election or the biggest early vote turnout bump over the last 2 years?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Both great questions, and ones that whenever there's a question that's actually with quantifiable data, I love them, but also I want to give you the actual answer so I can work through the LCC team to get you the answer. I mean, I can tell you from the propensity question, I literally, as I'm getting a question, I get excited and I've got my laptop right next to me and started pulling up numbers. I'm like, yeah. I realize all of y'all probably don't want to sit here where I like crunch numbers. I can tell you what we do is we break out the early vote. We have two different ways of looking at. We break them into quintiles of turnout propensity, which is super nerdy, but from people who've never voted before, which I can tell you when you look at the Republican vote, the early vote, and look at those who have never cast a ballot or voting in their first election, it's almost none of them. That's literally almost none. You're talking about like in any given targeted district, tens, maybe, maybe 10. And then we look at what we would call the infrequent voter. So those who, generally only voting maybe presidential years, maybe they voted in midterm elections, but they're not turning out primaries, that sort of thing. Anyhow, so on and so forth. The other context that we're adding to the equation is those who did or didn't vote in 2021, because that's a way to sort of look at voters who are new to the electorate, so to speak. Might be people who generally vote in presidential years and not traditionally in these state level election years. So we're looking at that context. It is a small share of the electorate. What I can tell you is even though turnout does look like it will be high, certainly in these battleground districts and potentially higher than it was in 2021, which is very unusual given the gubernatorial on the top of the ticket, you're unlikely to see a huge surge of first-time voters. It's going to be decided by Senator Mason said, talking about the targets that they're looking at when you're talking about the, 2 of 3s, 1 of 3s. It's those sporadic voters who are likely to make the difference if they are turning out at a higher rate. But again, I'll be happy to provide more specific numbers after the call.
Great.